My fellow nerdikins, welcome back to another episode of That's So Nerdy. Today we've got another gameplay video for you, and it is going to be Gogeta Xeno versus Gogeta BR. So Black Gogeta versus Red Gogeta, and I originally wanted to make two separate videos showcasing these decks, but then Tommy was interested in playing Red Gogeta, so I gave him a little bit of coaching on the build, and away we went. And then I believe Tommy goes first this time. And I am running a bit different of a build in my Gogeta Xeno than a lot of people are. I know some people do run a build similar to this because I have seen a couple profiles that are kind of similar, but no one quite plays the build that I play, and I mean that's pretty much the case with most of the decks that I try and build. I try and make it so people think they know what to expect, but really they just know what the leader does. They don't know what my engine's actually trying to do. But sometimes, like when you're playing a leader, you're kind of locked to a certain strategy. So I was correct. Tommy is going first, and I believe he just charges and passes. Yeah, that's what happens. Here, I'm having trouble deciding what I want to charge for my energy because I don't really want to use my counterattacks as energy, because I want to be able to cycle things from my drop area and my warp and stuff, but at the end of the day, I decided to go with the power burst as my energy. And I recently upgraded to the gold stamped versions of power burst, and I could not be happier, if I'm being completely honest, because they just, they pop so much. They look so good. In my opinion, they're better than the Kefla Power Bursts also. Oh, it looks like we got Xylus coming in for a little guest appearance for the moment. So two very basic first turns. I got to swing at Tommy because I went second, but we are currently at a draw because both of these leaders actually allow you to self-awaken, because they both allow you to take a life on swing, which is really nice when you're playing against somebody who's trying to stall you out and not allow you to awaken, to just be able to be like, you know what, you're not going to stop me from doing what I want to do. In my opinion, that's the mark of a really good deck, is if no matter what, you're going to be able to do what that deck wants to do. Whether or not it's successful every time or not, leaves something to be said for the build. But as long as it's consistent every time, there's a lot of times that consistency wins out over power. Say, hey, look at that. First card played to the field. It's going to be the Unison. And I mean, what can really be said about the Piccolo Unison that hasn't been said before? It's really strong. Contender for best red Unison, up there with Jiren and Shenron, Sin Shenron. And I would say that, well, obviously Gohanks, because he's an SCR, and then Vegito Unison of Might's pretty good also, even though it is a 4-drop Unison. It is really strong, especially its minus ability. But yeah, those are like the best Unisons for red, at least in my opinion. So he chooses to take the life, even though I am playing an aggro deck, and then he searches the top 7 for a 1-drop extra card. Honestly, if I were Tommy, going up against Gogeta Xeno, I probably wouldn't have been taking my own life, but he did actually need some pieces, so he was kind of digging a little bit for what he was looking for. But it's always a tough decision when you know you're going against an aggro deck, and if you want to actually self-awaken or not, because you do want the power in your hands, but you also don't want to leave yourself open for your opponent to just take advantage of you. So he tries to swing with his Unison, and we realize that he hasn't quite finished the battle step with his leader yet. So go ahead and finish the battle step with his leader, and then he swings with his Unison. Boom, and I take the life because I want to awaken on my next turn, and he has allowed me to do so. So yeah, I'm just thinking kind of, right now I'm trying to decide what to charge, because I was having a really hard time, and I decided to charge another Power Burst because I do have one more power, I believe I have one more Power Burst in my hand, and then I also have 2 Sword Dance of the Demon Gods in my hand. I could be wrong about the Sword Dance of the Demon Gods, but I'm pretty sure I have at least one in my hand. So here I tap 1, play out my Unison, and then proc the Unison's ability to -1 and play out 2 1-drop Skillless. I play out 1 Goku and 1 Vegeta. And this part is where my build tends to differ from other people's, is I do lean on the Skillless and being able to use those to my best benefit, because I don't like bursting, quote unquote bursting. I don't like sending the cards to my warp with my leader's auto ability unless I absolutely have to. And I really think that the build that I have right now really enables me to not need to use my leader's burst as often as some people do need to. Now, I will admit that this build isn't quite as aggro as other builds that don't run the Skillless package. But as you can see, it's my turn 2, his turn 1, and I'm already applying a huge amount of pressure with just these little Skillless right now. And now I'm able to awaken, which is going to give me access to my energy again. And I don't think it really makes a big difference on this turn. I could be wrong about that. Oh yeah, that's right. I fuse for thwarting. Boom. Swing in. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot to proc my leader's ability to draw when I Union Fuse, so I swing right there, and he testing the oppositions again. But I used my Gogeta, I believe. Yeah, I used my Gogeta's auto to warp the token that he plays, and he gets a little confused because he was playing the extra card as the token. So he almost sent the extra card to the warp instead of the drop. Little things. That's why I try and use my token cards as much as possible, so that doesn't happen as often. But sometimes we forget, because I mean, we're just human, and it is just casual play, so. Alright, so it looks like I did end my turn after my thwarting swing. Oh wait, that's right. Tommy went first in this. So it is now his turn 3. I forgot that he went first. Plus the way he stacks his energy, sometimes you can't really see how many he has. And since he isn't really familiar with the deck, it takes him a little bit longer to figure out what he's going to use as a charge target, because he's not sure what chains he's trying to look out for. I mean, I went over what the chains are before we played, and we actually played a practice round before this one so we could kind of get a feel for the deck. And if I'm being 100% honest, the practice game went a lot more smoothly for both of us than this game did. This game was actually kind of rough for both of us, because as you can see, I'm about to go into turn 3 and I still haven't played my Pycon Unison yet. I did get to play the one Saiyan Scions Unison, but that was just to get the Skillus out onto the board. In retrospect, I may have wanted to just play the Saiyan Scions out and then +1 to give itself +5k, and then next turn use the -1. But I don't know, I felt at the time the added pressure was probably more important. So Tomo's finally, I think he's finally decided, yeah, he's finally decided what he's gonna do. So he plays out one Skillus. And then he's gonna tap one to bring it back for the activate main on Technique Unchained here. And if he would have held on to that 5-drop Vegeta that's in his drop area, he could EX evolve into that as soon as he awakened, and that would be very troublesome for me. And because that's actually one of the ways that I built this Gogeta to just be able to deal damage, is because for those who don't know, that 5-drop Vegeta is able to deal burn damage, and if he's removed from the board, he also deals burn damage. So once he's on the board, your opponent, unless it's earlier in the game, your opponent doesn't really want to remove him from the board because it ends up dealing damage to them, and that could end up costing them the game. But I countered out of the attack with Technique Unchained, and he's going to... I mean, it's about to happen, so I'll just say it. He's gonna do it again. He's gonna play out another Technique Unchained in the same fashion that he played this one. Oh, I guess he swings with lead first. Sorry about that, guys. So he swings for the 20k double with lead, and I'm honestly not having it. So I super combo out of the double strike. And honestly, I'm sitting pretty well because I believe right now I still have 2 super combos in my hand. I believe I do have those 2 Sword Dance of the Demon Gods. I don't have any free counters right now, but I'm really not that worried about it because of the amount of defense I do have in my hand. Yes, this I believe is where he decides to do a second chain for the Technique Unchained. Because the second Technique Unchained card he drew from his leader swing. I didn't remember that from editing in the graphics or anything like that. Because I am recording the voiceover for this video the day after I actually did all the editing for the for the graphics and everything like that, because I like to space out my workload if I feel like I'm getting burnt out, because each video takes about, in total, between gameplay, editing, voiceover, and posting, takes about anywhere between 3.5 to 5 hours for one video. So yeah, it's not. Sometimes I'll record and edit and voiceover all in one day. Sometimes I'll record one day, edit another day, voiceover another day, or any combination of the three. Yeah, he's going in again with this Vegeta, and I use another one of my super combos. And combo off one of my thwarts, because honestly I'm really not that worried about it, because I believe with that second super combo, it's either the first super combo or the second super combo, I ended up seeing one of my moves. So I'm actually going to be playing it out next turn, which really starts to turn things, because right now we're sitting fairly even. He keeps swinging in at me, making me use resources, and I'm doing the same to him. I have brought him down one life lower than me. But here's one thing that Tommy doesn't really know, is that turn 3, turn 4 with Gogeta Xeno can be really explosive. Oh yeah, and then right there I was explaining to him not to forget the second activate main on the Vegetas, because he has a nasty tendency of just kind of skimming the card and then not realizing or remembering to proc everything, because he'll just read like part of the card and assume he knows what it actually says, instead of reading the whole thing and be like, oh, well, either that card's worse or better than I thought it was. And a lot of times, more often than not, it comes back to bite him in the ass. And I try really hard to like help coach him through it, but at certain times I think it's a little bit of pride, because I mean, he is a gamer as well, so he wants to believe that the way he does it is good and he's doing things right. But unfortunately, that's not quite the story all the time. Sometimes actually he'll strategize something and it'll completely catch me off guard. Not very often, but sometimes. But yeah, I decided to try and burst with my leader, because I was trying to get one of these blockers onto the board. But it didn't really work out that way, because everything that I bursted that I could fuse with was all Gokus. There was one 30k Vegeta in there, but it didn't do me any good, because I needed another 30k Goku, which wasn't in my work. I did, however, have one in my hand, which is what's coming out right now. Is this Goku right here, prepping for fusion. And I play out this Vegeta for my drop area and rest mode, because when that Goku is played or activates his blocker skill, he gets to play a skill list from your drop or warp. And then play out this Vegeta with Xeno Evolve as well. And for those who don't know, that Vegeta, when you swing with him, you get to pull a skill list from your deck. Alright, so Tommy goes ahead and combos out of the 25k double strike swing. And since he's comboing out of this stuff, I'm pretty confident that he doesn't have any counters left. So I'm like, okay, I'm going in hard. And since I swung with Vegeta, I procced his ability to bring this Goku out. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was the last skill list in my deck. I might have one more, but I don't think it actually comes up. And then right here, he tries to combo with the SCR, and then I remind him, oh yeah, it's a unison, so it has no combo power. There's nothing you can do with that. And then that's the game. He doesn't have the power to combo out, and as you can see by my hand, I was well in control. But if you like this video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that notification bell. That way you can be notified every time I post, and stay nerdy.